All right, so tell me about the evolution of choice skills and your vision with that.
Well, it's choice skills was just really an evolution out of publishing the book Benjamin Franklin's The Art of Virtue. Um, Franklin had a lot to say about virtue and the importance of helping young people develop good moral understanding of things. And at any rate, it seemed to me that, in fact, the Art of Virtue was kind of aimed at all people. But it seemed to me that if I created something for young people, then it would be parent-teacher directed kind of thing, so that it would not only help the young people develop a better sense of morality, but it would enable the parents to develop it along with them because they're helping to be teaching them. And so that was the kind of concept behind it. And so I drew on the writings of Benjamin Franklin for the basic principles that I was trying to teach. And then I started doing research among other writers, among the founding fathers, um, and frankly, from all different kinds of literature. The story of Frederick Douglass, for example, from his life, and I drew on some familiar stories like Helen Keller, and a number of biographical sketches. And the whole idea, and then also I drew on a lot of fairy tales and familiar stories. Um, for example, as I was working with it, I did the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs thing. You did the beautiful artwork on on the uh, optical illusion that's associated with it. And at any rate, but it occurred to me what a powerful story that was, what a powerful lesson was in that story, because here we have a beautiful queen, and normally beautiful queens have it made. But this beautiful queen was unhappy. She wanted to be the most beautiful lady in the land. And she found out that Snow White was prettier than herself, and so this queen did something remarkable. In order to become the most beautiful person in the land, she turned herself into an ugly old hag to deceive Snow White and kill her. And that's such a interesting notion that how twisted people's minds can get when they pursue things that they think they want. And so one of the things I wanted to try to help kids understand is the notion of misguided self-interest, that a lot of the things that we want aren't necessarily right for us or good for us, and we have to be careful about the things we want. And so this was a great story for that, because also we tend to think about Snow White being an innocent victim. But you think about it, the huntsman warned her that the queen was trying to kill her. The dwarfs warned her on multiple occasions that the queen was trying to kill her. And in the original version of the story, there was the time when the ugly old hag sold her some lace and wrapped it around her so tight that she would have died had the dwarfs not come back in time. There was a time with the poisoned comb that nearly killed her, and finally the queen got her with the poisoned apple. Well, this is a girl that's having trouble learning from experience. And so one of the things I was trying to help kids understand is that you don't have to learn from your own experience. You can learn from the experiences of others. You can learn from the mistakes of others, and you can observe what happens in the lives of others and avoid those kinds of mistakes. And that was one of the great lessons from Benjamin Franklin. He was a great observer of humankind, and he tried to learn from other people what he observed around him and avoid mistakes. And so that was the whole idea behind the behind choice skills. And one of the great metaphors or lessons from Benjamin Franklin that was constantly a guiding influence on me on all of this was when he was in France. He received a letter from a lady telling him that his valet was probably a spy for the French. And Benjamin Franklin said something, wrote back with a really remarkable response. He said, you know, I have long since, I have developed a rule which has long since prevented me having any inconvenience from such things. That rule is to never do anything I would blush to have made public. And this was a time when, you know, the biographers of Franklin, you know, accuse him of womanizing and doing all these things while he was in France. But his view was that he wouldn't do anything that he wouldn't be willing to have made public. And I thought, you know, that's a great standard for all of us. And so those were the kinds of things I was trying to build in to these lessons that I was creating on choice skills. And so it evolved from that, and we developed the concept of character-based learning. I call it the missing piece in education, where kids actually learn how to make responsible choices. And so the whole idea was built around helping kids develop the tools and skills necessary for making responsible choices. And my perspective was that religion alone didn't always accomplish that, and that it was necessary to help kids develop the thinking skills, the ways to recognize when they were getting off track on their thinking. And so you know, it's one of those things I spent a lot of time on. I never got much traction with it in terms of sales, and I really didn't do a very good job of really sharing it with everybody that I love. And so, at any rate, but that was the idea behind Choice Skills.